Let's be honest, you feel it. Maybe you just felt it this last week. The rent is due, the grocery bills are climbing up, the wait times at the ER, and there's that quiet, draining feeling that everything is just way too harder than it ought to be. And it's because of all of that that I'm gonna say something that you might immediately disagree with, that Canada is not broken. I know that sounds like a controversial take, maybe even one that's out of touch with reality. But before you write me off here and click on the next video, please give me a few moments, because I'm not ignoring those problems. In fact, I'm starting with them. And to be clear, the feeling that things are broken isn't just anecdotal. It's in the data, it's in our lived experiences as Canadians. But give me a few minutes to talk about this and tell you why I say Canada is not broken. If you find any value from this video, please click on the subscribe button and let's get into it. Now consider this, 7 out of 10 Canadians tell posters that the country is falling apart. You walk into a pub right now, into any coffee shop, and you hear the same conversations happening, that a starter home is now a luxury item in Canada, that our medical system is falling apart. You wait for years before you can see a specialist. That's correct. There are wait times are setting new grim records every year, and that 1 in 5 of us can't even find a family doctor as Canadians. And what about affordability? That your paycheck disappears between buying groceries and filling up your gas tank. Those are real challenges. Let's even make it more concrete. In markets like in Vancouver and in Toronto, the average mortgage is going to devour about 80% of the median household income in Canada right now. And CMHC does not make the matters better. They said we need to double housing starts just for us to reach 2019 affordability levels. What about our economic engine, where productivity has been crawling behind counterpart nations for over a decade now? So let's be real. It's no wonder that the term broken feels like the right word to use to describe Canada right now. It's completely rational conclusion, actually, to think about it. Here's the trap. The word broken implies something is finished. It's irreparable. It's completely ruined and damaged and destined for landfill. It tells your brain that the engine has seized, not that the engine needs a new spark plugs. It's like deciding not to patch a leak in your boat because you've convinced yourself that the entire ship is sinking. And once we label these problems as an apocalypse, then giving up starts to feel like the only logical next move, actually. You start feeling like, why bother finishing that degree I started? Why bother launching the business idea that I've been nursing for a while in my mind? Or even voting in the next elections if the whole machine is headed for scrapyard anyways. Then pessimism stops becoming a mood or a feeling. It actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, to think about it. So give me another moment here. Let's reality check the catastrophe of a broken Canada. Because while some things are actually badly strained in our systems, the fundamentals of a functioning society are still here in Canada. And I'll tell you why I say so in a moment here. Our banks are not imploding, at least not yet. They actually have some of the biggest safety cushions that you can find on the planet. I know you don't like their charges. The rule of law works so well in Canada right now that if a tree falls on your car this morning, this moment, you will call your insurance company. You're not going to call your cousin with a chainsaw. I know we don't like the premiums. Think about that. You still drink water from the tap without a second thought. Maybe you're going to run diarrhea the next moment or not. You flip a switch on the wall and the lights just come on. Kids take a yellow bus to school every day that does not charge them tuition. I know we can talk about the broken educational system, and a Canadian passport is still the key that unlocks nearly 200 countries right now for free, visa free. The immigration website, the Canadian immigration website, actually crashes from time to time because of overwhelming demands from around the world. Yes, I know you want to say immigration broke Canada, but there is a lot of interest from around the world to come to this same country that we've called broken. Even on the issues that stress you and I like hell. Take crime, for instance. Yes, the crime rates are high, they're going up, but Canada's homicide is still a fraction of what it is in the United States or even countries like Brazil. Even our housing market, yes, the prices are off the roof in major markets for sure. But you and I are not gonna be homeless very likely. I know homelessness is high, and I'm not disputing that. And other things that I can even talk about, like we have one of the highest life expectancy from around the world. Our literacy rate is the highest in the G7. Our universal health care system, for all its woes, the wait times prevents medical bankruptcies that actually crush millions from around the world. If you've ever been to a Canadian hospital to give birth, you will understand what I'm talking about, where you walk away with your brand new baby and no bills paid at all. Yes, I know we talk about the wait times and no doctors and whatnot, but my point is simple. Our systems frustrate us, but they still function. And this isn't a blueprint of a failed state yet. It's actually a quiet leak in the plumbing system of a country that still functions, even while parts of it frustrates the hell out of you and I. Again, let me prove this a little more. Ask someone who just arrived from Bangladesh or from Lagos in Nigeria. They would describe a totally different reality. Yes, they would tell you rent is staggering, but the bus actually shows up on time, and you can register a business idea that you have in one afternoon just sitting at your computer. And that's because newcomers often see a system with a few dents and scratches. And that's because many of them come from places around the world where the car has no wheels at all. But they know how to get a lot more mileage from that same engine that is not sitting on wheels at all. Meanwhile, you have many Canadian-born Zoomers scrolling through TikTok, watching videos that have convinced them that the entire system is about to collapse and it's good for nothing than to be thrown to the scrapyard. The same people waiting on the sidelines for a housing crash that has not happened since the 90s, which might actually still be a mirage right now. Am I saying that since Canada is not Venezuela or like any other third world hellhole from around the world, then everything is fine? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying your mindset determines your mileage from this car, in spite of the squeaky sounds that come out of it. And that mindset is everything, because the gap between a declining nation and a collapsed nation, a failed state, there's actually an opportunity gap right there. Can I turn your attention to the numbers on the screen for a second here, because it shows over 90% of the regular viewers on this channel haven't subscribed yet. It goes a long way in helping us improve the quality of work, the conversation, and the guests that you see on this channel every time. If you could just click the subscribe button right now, that would be very helpful to bring that number down to about 80%. Well, thank you very much. Let's get back into the conversation. Decline is not the same as collapse, and decline actually creates a gap in the market, a space for solutions where old systems can actually be replaced by newer systems. And I'll tell you why I say that and what it looks like in practical terms to a 25-year-old who's watching this video right now, who's been told that home ownership is impossible. I'll say this is the moment where three friends pull their money together to buy a triplex, and they rent out the basement, and over time they can actually build wealth. Think about it. That's how immigrants take over neighborhoods. I'm not a fan of cultural enclaves. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I'm saying that is how immigrants live, and that's how they thrive in this broken Canada. I would say also it's the time where a couple chooses a subdivision that is far out of the city with a longer commute, but they have a backyard rather than waiting forever to save to buy a house in downtown core of any city. It's a time when family doctors are scarce like this, that opens the opportunities for nurse practitioners and tele-app medicine to scale up. It's a time when big companies are laying off talents that small companies can build new AI solutions. Clean tech startups can also scale during this period of opportunity gap in the system, because the space between disappointing and dystopian is actually where opportunities are created, where entrepreneurs and problem solvers plant their flags. Is that moment of the fulcrum of power where opportunities are seized and wealth is built by many who choose to seize the opportunities. But to keep the door to opportunity open to our nation and to close the one to a dystopian future that we love to talk about, we have a shared responsibility, you and I. It's not just about your personal hustle. It's not about the next dime you and I can make. It's about the world we actually choose to build together. And that's starts, first of all, with leading meaningful lives. Yes, it's going to extend to the leaders that we elect also. Let me tell you why I say so. Because this is no longer the time to elect leaders who offer short-term bribes right before elections. You know the ones I'm talking about. It's not the time for leaders who prioritize election victories over economic fundamentals, the ones who blame our problems on everyone else but themselves. You know the ones we're talking about. It's our responsibilities to see through the nonsense. It's our responsibility to appraise leadership without bias, without even the bias of our political preferences and our party affiliations. And it's the time where we demand a focus on what actually builds a prosperous nation with a prosperous future, great economic growth, real opportunity, and competent management in our leaders. It's the time where we demand for those. And it brings me to the real question in all of these. How did we get here? How did a country with every advantage, land mass advantage, natural resources, abundance of even peace around us, how did we become so disillusioned? The problem isn't broken country, as it were. It's a broken political culture, a culture that traded growth for optics and long-term planning for short-term wins. But here's the most important thing to remember through all these. A country is not its government. Country is its people, its culture, its shared values, and its foundational institutions. I love this book written by two MIT professors on why Africa remains poor, and they blamed that fundamental institutions in the nation. We are defined by our foundational institutions as a nation, and we would only go far as the strength of those institutions. So the ultimate power is actually still in our hands, in your hand, in my hand. The state of Canada is actually not predetermined as a nation. It's a choice. And that's why the whole broken narrative is actually so dangerous. It's like blaming your car instead of blaming the driver. Car isn't hopeless. It's just been badly run for a very long time. But that car still runs. It's just been badly driven for a while. And you and I are now in the driver's seat. If you don't take anything else from this monologue this time, I hope you go away with that. You and I are in the driver's seat where we can make changes, where we can determine future of a nation and what it will look like for the next generation. And it's because of all of these that I say Canada is not broken. It's just been run by bad leadership for a very long time. I want to know what you think in the comment section. I will respond to all the comments. And if you derive any value from this monologue this time, please hit the subscribe button and send this to that one friend who loves to write Canada's obituary online every time. I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.